In Cast Highlight, AI acceleration insights help organizations speed up adoption of AI and agentic capabilities across application portfolios to deliver more value to the organization. The challenge that a lot of organizations are dealing with right now is identifying the best opportunities to deliver the highest ROI, determine which applications are ready, and what needs to happen to enable them with AI or agentic capabilities. AI acceleration insights in Cast Highlight are comprised of two distinct indicators, represented in these two purple boxes here on the right: AI opportunity and agentic readiness. AI opportunity identifies applications and specific characteristics of those applications that represent opportunities to integrate AI services into them. Agentic readiness identifies applications that are more ready to be consumed or potentially replaced by autonomous agents and what needs to happen to them to make them more ready. We'll see first off here that there's a portfolio level score, which is the average scores of all the applications that have been scanned for AI opportunity in this case, and the portfolio score is 30.1. And we also see some quick insights. For example, 7 of the applications here are quick wins for AI opportunity. 9 of them are strategic priorities for AI opportunity, and we'll learn a little bit more about that. We also see the same level of insights at this level for agentic readiness. We have our portfolio level score of 42.8. We have 8 quick wins and 10 strategic priorities. Let's first delve deeper into AI opportunity. This first dashboard at the portfolio level is called the Portfolio Advisor for AI Adoption, and it has a few different segments. First, we have this Parliament chart that represents all of the different applications that have been scanned for AI opportunity. In this case, we've scanned 35 applications for AI opportunity, and we see them segmented into different categories represented by these color boxes here. In the upper right here, we have a bubble chart that shows me each of these applications plotted across 2 axes. On the vertical axis, we have business impact, which is a qualitative measurement that comes from a built-in survey for measuring business impact of each application. And then we have AI opportunity on the horizontal axis, which is automatically calculated when scanning the applications. Each of these bubbles represents an application, and the size of the bubble currently is set to the number of lines of code. So it's a rough estimate of the size of the application. The 4 segments that were identified here are quick wins, strategic priorities, deferred, and deprioritized. So let's look at them very quickly. Quick wins are the applications that are in the lower right. These are applications that have a high AI opportunity score, but lower on the business impact, making them quick wins, because if we're just starting off on this journey to AI, we might want to start with these applications that might have a less impact to the business. Strategic priorities, these are the applications in the upper right. They also have a high AI opportunity score, but they're also higher on the business impact scale, meaning that these are strategic, important applications to the organization. So here's where we're going to make a lot of investments from an AI adoption perspective. The third category is deferred. These are the ones in the upper left. These are applications that have a low AI opportunity score, but still important to the organization. So we might defer AI investments to those. And finally, the last quadrant is the lower left. These are the deprioritized applications, meaning they have a low AI opportunity score and they're lower on the business impact side. So we will probably focus investments elsewhere. If I click the See Applications button, I can see the full list of applications down here. I can click on this little icon here to understand how the score was calculated and the segment was determined. And if I want to at any time manually change the recommended segment, I can simply choose to change that segment here. Next, we'll look at the patterns that are driving this AI opportunity score. Here on the AI pattern screen, I see a list of all of the code patterns that were detected during the code scan across all of my applications. I can see what the code pattern was, how it identified an opportunity for AI. It's categorized into different categories, what technology it was detected, and how many applications had this code pattern detected. So for example, a pattern like form logic validation in an application here was detected in 15 different applications. And if I want to understand what is actually triggering that pattern, I can click on this question mark and actually see the specific code syntax that's triggering the detection of this particular AI pattern in my applications. Ultimately, these patterns are triggering recommendations for specific AI services and LLMs that might be good to consider for each application. Here's a summary of all of those AI and LLM service recommendations across my entire portfolio. Cast Highlight currently supports recommendations for Anthropic, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and OpenAI. At the top of the screen, I'll see a summary of all of the different AI services from this particular provider I currently have selected. I can see the full list of AI service recommendations for this provider down here below and the name of the specific applications that are being recommended to take advantage of these services potentially. Let's drill down to one application to see the details we can get at the application level. We have now left the portfolio level, and I'm now viewing the detail for one specific application here called LDMPR. There's a few different areas of insights I have here. First, there's an optional survey that can be completed for each application that captures some qualitative information and helps contribute to that AI opportunity score. There's also the AI scan data. So here we could see the specific AI opportunity code patterns that were triggered and detected, their categories, what technology they were detected, and the number of occurrences and how they contributed to the score. For example, this form validation logic in the application pattern was triggered for this application as well. I can click and see the syntax that triggered that code pattern detection and understand how many occurrences are being detected across my applications. And finally, for this specific application, I could see the specific services that are being recommended. So let's say I want to look at what AI services on Microsoft Azure would be appropriate for this application. I can select that and I'll see there are 11 eligible services for Microsoft Azure AI. I can see what that specific code pattern was. So in this case, we detected that the application is using translation tables and localization resources, so it's recommending the Azure AI Translator service. I can click further to get technical documentation and more information directly from Microsoft by clicking on these hyperlinks to learn more about the Azure AI Translator service. Let's take a closer look at the Agentic Readiness insights in Cast Highlight. Similar to the Portfolio Advisor for AI adoption, there's also a Portfolio Advisor for Agentic Readiness. This helps me segment my application portfolio and identify opportunities where applications are ready to be consumed by autonomous agents or potentially even replaced by autonomous agents. We have the same four segments we had in the previous Portfolio Advisor. Quick wins, which are lower right, high agentic readiness but low business impact, strategic priorities, upper right, they have a high agentic readiness and also high business impact, deferred, upper left, high business impact but low agentic readiness, so I might defer the investment there, and then finally deprioritized where I have both low business impact and low agentic readiness, so I'm going to focus my investments elsewhere. I can see that same application list down here below as I saw in the previous Portfolio Advisor with the same functionality. Let's take a closer look at one application. Particularly, I'm going to look at the strategic priorities segment, and I'm going to select this application called Shop Advisor. Again, I've left the portfolio level, and now I'm looking at one specific application to get agentic readiness insights at the application level. Cast Highlight detects 43 different code level criteria and categorizes them into 7 categories related to agentic readiness: data, API and services, infrastructure, architecture, security, observability, and CI/CD. Let's take a closer look at one of these categories and criteria. So I'm going to filter on the architecture category. I see here I have a handful of patterns, how the scoring is being contributed to the overall agentic readiness score based on the level of readiness for the particular pattern. So let's take a closer look at one of the criteria here that's at a mid-range of readiness. This one called is inter-service communication primarily synchronous or asynchronous. I can click on this question mark and I can see the varying degrees of readiness that would be possible for this criteria. Right now I'm at this middle level, mixed synchronous and asynchronous, and I can see that there's some elevated levels of readiness that I can achieve for this particular criteria to make this application more ready to be consumed by an agent. This gives me a simple roadmap on how to improve the readiness of my applications for this particular criteria or any of these criteria that I choose to drill down into in more detail. So in summary, we started at the portfolio level looking at both AI opportunity, or where I could integrate AI services to generate more value for my applications, and agentic readiness to identify how ready each of my applications are for being consumed by autonomous agents. We looked at the segmentation for each of those portfolio advisors to identify quick wins, strategic priorities, where I might want to defer investment, and then we drilled down to the individual application level to understand more specific details, such as which specific AI or LLM services I could identify, or what are the particular criteria that I need to improve in my application to improve its agentic readiness. Ultimately, this allows me to drive adoption of AI and agents to deliver the best ROI based on facts about the actual technical condition of my software. Thank you for watching this demonstration.